Last weekend, specifically June 12th, has found its permanent mark in our history. Along with Americans around the country preparing to celebrate its liberty, justice, and equality for all, honoring its 131st Flag Day last Tuesday, June 14th. Also, along with Flag Day, the Coalition for Veterans for Common Sense announced its beginning. Many of you have read of this initiative led by the Navy combat veteran Mark Kelly and his wife, former Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords. The advisory committee of the coalition boasts of skilled marksmen, having served in combat, especially in Afghanistan and Iraq, where determining who is a trusted holder of a firearm and who is not is a well-trained attribute. The coalition focuses on urging elected officials to close loopholes to background checks, strengthen existing laws and training for gun holders, and secure mental health care for veterans in an effort to help our country bring an end to gun violence. But sadly, these victories are not where our country was focused last weekend. Instead, what we'll remember from now and forevermore is June 12th, 2016, as the deadliest mass shooting in United States history. A demon-possessed man walked into the nightclub in Orlando, Florida in the early hours of Sunday morning. Hundreds of folks enjoying the evening, dancing away, suddenly found themselves thrown over a cliff as the lone gunman took the lives of 49 and injured another 53 before his own life was taken by police officials. And as the tragedy is still under investigation, friends and family mourn deeply the loss of loved ones. And as a country tormented, we once again search for answers and wonder about our demons. As Christians, children of God, through faith in Jesus Christ, we cannot do nothing. Now, in the story we hear from Luke's gospel today, we learn Jesus too finds himself in a place where a demon-possessed man resides. Preaching and teaching around the Sea of Galilee, Jesus and his disciples board a boat to sail across to the other side. Battling a storm, Jesus commands calm waters, astounding his disciples as they now find dry land in Gerasenes. Stepping ashore into Gentile territory, Jesus is immediately met with a man possessed by demons. A naked, homeless man, so possessed he's relegated to being chained and fettered or living with demons, his own demons, in the wilderness. Now the demons, and there are a whole regiment of demons seizing this man, so many that they call themselves legion, a multitude of separate thoughts, impressions just hitting up against one another, conflicting experiences crowding his mind, demanding his attention to the point of utter confusion and frenzied distraction, doing their very best to oppose God while at the same time acknowledging God's saving grace in Christ Jesus as they address him as Jesus, Son of the Most High. Now, Legion also knows that surrendering our life to the healing power of God in Christ first means coming face to face with what torments us. Legion cries out to the God Most High standing before him, "Do not torment me." Does Jesus torment us? No. Jesus transforms us. But through our trust in Jesus, our faithfulness as children of God, we wrestle with our wicked neighbors, doing their best to lead us into temptation. One great theologian calls this transformation to the love of Christ a transformation from God the void to God the enemy, and from God the enemy to God the companion. Fearful of being banished into the abyss, to wander endlessly in the depths of chaos without form or function, the demons are regulated by Jesus to the swine, unclean according to Jewish law, and they are sent off down the cliff. Demon-free, the man now clothed in his right mind rests in the spirit of peace at the feet of Jesus, ever obedient and ready to follow. Not necessarily the ways of conformity and uniformity, but the way of God in Christ, the way of truth, the way of justice, the way of righteousness. Witnessing Jesus' miraculous healing, the men tending the pigs run to town to tell the good news. Townspeople come to see, not yet able to recognize the beauty of God at work in Jesus. They're seized with superstitious dread. When we fail to trust in God's miraculous power of great good working within us, fear ceases to become a mindful caution. Instead, fear becomes a demon that narrows possibilities and inhibits growth. Incapable of seeing God's glory, the people of Gerasene send Jesus away. You know the old saying, better the devil you know than the devil you don't know? The townspeople, Gentiles, pagan worshipers, they're comfortable with their status quo. Instead of praying for the freedom of an abundant life, they simply choose to stay stagnant. But this Jesus, he's not interested in the status quo. He doesn't stay still. And making God's world known means what is gets disturbed. There's hope for the hopeless, love for the unlovable, and healing for the injured and hurt. The man now exorcised, made free, he wants to sit at the feet of Jesus and, like the disciples, follow in his footsteps, sail back across the lake away from pagan country to a land of believers, of transformed, healed souls out and about, doing God's work as made known to them in Jesus. No, says Jesus, stay put. Get God's work done here. So now it's our turn, my friends, to get God's work done here. We cannot do nothing. We may struggle with our demons. Jesus knows we live with confusion. But in Christ, our demons are those parts of us that live inferior to God's healing, redeeming love. May we never underestimate the strength, the perseverance, and the power to do the impossible that God gives us in Jesus Christ. Look for the Christ within. It may not come in the wildness of a storm, nor the crumbling earthquake, or the flashing of lightning. God's redeeming, healing power in Christ may well simply come in a whispering murmur, stilling our demons, building us stronger than we ever thought possible. Strong in Christ, we now take our turn. As we mourn the loss of those in Orlando, we're remembering lives lost so needlessly in the tragedies of Charleston, San Bernardino, the Sikh temple in Wisconsin, the movie theater in Colorado, and of course, Sandy Hook. Recent reports reveal that loss of life by gun violence has now matched that of loss of life through car accidents. Some 30,000 people a year lose their lives in the United States to gun violence. We cannot do nothing. So here's how we can help. Pray. Yes? Prayer. It can turn our hearts and heads to healing love. Our bishop instructs us to pray for the friends and families of those in Orlando. Pray for the counselors, the medical teams, the law enforcement agencies who serve. Pray for the LGBTQ and Latino community, and walk in compassion with these folks who all too often are victims of the demons of prejudice, injustice, and hatred. Today is Father's Day. Pray for those many parents who today will remember those most beloved children lost so tragically. And also today we're honoring refugees. Pray for the safety and freedom of refugees across the globe, especially the two families welcomed this week into Virginia through the Episcopal Church in the Diocese of Virginia. Pray, my friends, for an end to gun violence. Here's what else we can do. Give blood. On July 30th, give blood during the blood drive hosted here with Epiphany. Your donation may help a victim. And finally, my friends, may we face our demons. Clothed in Christ, Jesus claims our identity. He claims the identity of our demons, and he claims the identity of us as children of God. Because of Jesus Christ, his life, his death, his resurrection, we are more, and we are called to do more. Be strengthened by God's cleansing, healing love. And go, proclaim the good news of all that Jesus does for us. Amen.